Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome into another episode of D&D Dynamite 80s, the video cast. I'm DH.
I'm DC.
And we're going to take you on another journey back into the great decade of the 80s. But DC, you pulled something on me because
what did I mess up this time?
My list was so correct. You went out and got an expert to try to verify that your list is better. So we're going to see today. You want to introduce our special guest?
I sure will. We have Angie Delsante joining us today. She, first of all, I'm going to let her kind of introduce herself a little bit to us. But before she does that, I want to thank her for her service. I read somewhere where she was a veteran.
United States Air Force, I believe, correct?
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
So thank you very much for your service.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah. DH's son served in the Marines overseas during Afghanistan.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
And my dad served in Vietnam in the Army. So we're big about that. We're big about that and very proud of our country and serving it. So thank you for doing that for us.
Much. Thank you. You're welcome.
So, Angie, tell us a little bit about your background and what made you interested in movies.
Okay, then. Well, I was born and raised in San Angelo, Texas, West Central Texas. And what actually gave me an interest in it, I was raised with two brothers and a father, and my father had like a huge library of movies, from 80s, 90s to current. And every time we would go visit him, he would pop in a movie and we'd just sit there and enjoy ourselves. And but other than that, later on, I think it's been a couple of years back, it started around 2016, 2017 timeframe. I started getting involved with pretty much just independent films. I started off with commercials, and then I worked my way through and participating in a film premiere. And when I was working within the crew as a scriptie, which is a script supervisor, I realized how much work it takes for a film to get created. It's no walk in the park, and I realized that, and I was like, wow, this is just amazing. The long hours, having to work till 3 a.m. in the morning and not getting enough sleep, and I was like, wow, film crews actually put in a lot of work into these films, even independent, versus the film industry and Hollywood and everything. I mean, they all go through the same process. And that's when I realized, okay, I'm going to be participating more in this, but rather within the film industry, within the crew, I'm going to support them in sponsoring their films. As in film festivals, supporting them with film festivals, and supporting any upcoming actors or actresses that are trying to get involved into the industry. Just refer them to connections, refer them to film festivals, refer them to award competitions, such as the Amahin Awards. I'm a huge supporter of the Amahin Awards. I wasn't back then, not until after my father had passed on. He passed on in 2012. He was a mariachi and in my little small town there. And after his passing, my brothers and I were looking through his financial records and so forth. And then we realized he was actually donating to the Amahin Awards. We had no idea at all. And then so I decided just to continue on his legacy. And instead of donating, I've been attending the awards and just to show them my support. And I mean, I love the idea. The founder is television producer, Norman Lear, and the vice
Yeah,
president of the
yeah.
foundation. Yes. And the vice president of the foundation is Helen Hernandez. And I'm a huge proponent of this foundation, mostly because it encourages and recognizes the achievements of Latino talent, portraying positive roles in the entertainment industries. And I mean, I'm a huge supporter in that. Latino entertainment usually doesn't get that much recognition as it should. And especially the actors, actresses, those involved in the Latino industry. So that's more the reasons why I support them. Other than that, that's pretty much the reason why I'm involved in this.
Well, I think that's really amazing, especially because in our school, I mean, we have a population of Latino students.
Yes, we do.
Those role models. It's just amazing. So
I thought the same thing. I thought the same thing, DH, when you were doing that. Yes, our percentage of Latino is pretty big in our school. So wherever definitely. We can, that gives me some cool background to kind of understanding that a little bit better. That's for sure. All right. Oh yeah. DH. All right. Let's start. Let's do this. We're going to hit like 4 or 5 out of our top 15. Let's do this. Let's get you start out with the very last, your very last movie on your
my number 15.
Yes. And we'll work our way up to our top ones.
So let me go ahead and preface this by saying I've already taken a lot of crap from the podcast over this from people. So, but my list is I'm still going to stand by it.
I know you do.
And I know, I mean, DC, you brought in the expert. So now when it's over and my list is 1, I don't want to hear anymore. Okay.
I won't say a word. The debate will be settled.
Done. My number 15 was kind of a classic movie that for some reason has fallen into the kind of holiday season now. Lethal Weapon. Mm-hmm. It seems like it's played more there. But just a great movie. Great actors. Just a good suspenseful action type movie. So I went
now to give Angie a little bit of background about us, and she's going to say, how in the world does these guys that have so much in common with each other go so far split different from each other? All right, here's the deal on us. We grew up together. We're 23 days apart in age. We grew up on the same street. We went to the same schools. We graduated from the same high school in the same year. And we're now teaching in the same building.
And we've been best friends since we were like 4 or 5.
Yeah, since we could start walking and talking. So when he gives you a bunch of this ridiculous stuff and it doesn't match me, I can't, no explanation. I don't know. So here's the thing. That's a great movie. Didn't make my list at all. Not even like honorable mention.
See,
I don't get. Give me an explanation why that one's such a biggie for you.
You know what I think it is, to be honest with you? I think it's
tell me.
And I think it really got on my list a little later because as my son was growing up, a lot of these movies were movies we actually spent time watching together.
So you got a connection.
Around the holiday season.
Gotcha.
With the kids watching
Lethal
Weapon and things like that. And that's why some of these movies have really kind of...
You got sentimental, yes. I got you.
Anything. Plus, some of them are just like hilarious. So.
All right. So let me give mine, and then she can kind of see what she thinks.
Well,
critique both of those.
Go ahead.
Okay.
All right. I'm not a horror picture guy at all. I don't like them. Not very much. Very, very small amount of that taste of that every once in a while. But the classic one of all classic one is got to be Nightmare on Elm Street. So that was my 15. That was at number 15 for me.
You see what I'm doing?
Love it. Yeah,
that is all time. Everybody on earth knows that movie. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was a good start. But go ahead. What's your so totally two different perspectives of the bottom 15 on the list for both.
Now we're going to hear the correct perspective.
Yes.
And both of us are going to be wrong, but it's okay.
That's good. That's fine. Yeah, that's great.
Well, Nightmare on Elm Street is a fantastic horror movie. I remember watching that back then. And when I was young, it pretty much scared the heck out of me. But now that I'm older and I see it, it's pretty much hilarious in a way.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. But other than that, Lethal Weapon was actually one of my father's favorites. And I remember seeing that back then with him. Of course, it is one of those action-packed films, but it has phenomenal actors in it. And I agree with Del. It has that.
Okay, you're up on me 1-0.
Hey, I give that credit to Danny Glover.
Definitely.
That's a good point. That's a good point. All right. Work your way up to number, where do you want to go? 10?
Oh, we can go to 10. That's fine.
It don't matter to me. All right, go to 10. Do you 10?
First off, I want to, yeah, 10's fine.
Okay.
10 is one we both had on there, but I think you took it a little higher. I mean, you can't go wrong with Karate Kid. It's just one of those good feel-good movies. You still watch it. I watched it this past weekend, a few minutes of it. It's just one of those movies. And that's one of those movies that not really a particular reason why I like the movie. I just enjoyed it.
It's a teen movie. When we were teens. And you could,
why it's in that time frame.
Yeah, and here's the thing: you could kind of react to what was going on with their problems, and because it was realistic to you.
Well, I would say for you to go ahead with number 13, but we know I'm going to win, so it doesn't matter.
All right. So number 10 on my list, and by the way, I've got yours on my list, The Karate Kid, but it's on up there.
I remember that.
Yeah. So anyway, so I can't go wrong. Yeah, I can't disagree with him. I tried to disagree, but I can't with that one. No, mine actually is this one, and it's not a very popular movie. And I told you on the podcast, Dale, why I liked it so well was just being in the profession itself. But it had Ralph Macchio, it had Nick Nolte, it had the guy from Taxi, Hirsch, I think is his last name, and a couple of other very well-known performers as well. As Teachers that came out in 1984.
Wow.
Pretty tough, pretty realistic movie, I would say, in rough neighborhoods. You would think with pregnant, but we get that all the time nowadays. But back then, I think that it stepped on toes a little bit because it talked about one of the students getting pregnant. It talked about, a lot of things that you wouldn't think would happen. That they probably do happen, and quite often, And we, as kids then, we were like, oh my gosh, this is made up movie stuff. But I don't know, something intrigued me about that movie where it sticks out to me about it's very realistic life things, life experiences. So that was my number 10. So Karate Kid and Teachers.
Well, Teachers does actually send out a message, especially in this day and age, in this current age we're living in. There's a lot of that going around right now, and it's horrific, and it's concerning as well. So Teachers would actually be one of those movies that I would recommend to kids in this present society to actually watch that, to set a proper example of what's going on in real life. It is real life, and real life situations. So I can pretty much recommend that to the public. Karate Kid was actually on my list as well.
Success.
2-0. That's 2-0.
2-0.
Yeah, my father was a huge Karate Kid fan. Every time we saw Ralph Macchio popping up into the screen, right away he's like, Karate Kid, you know. But also Mr. Miyagi.
Yes.
Mr. Miyagi, to me, in my life, that was actually my Native American uncle and also my great grandmother. They were my Mr. Miyagis. And
wow.
I had so much of a connection, a relation to that film, mostly because that's what Mr. Miyagi is trying to do to Ralph Macchio, is teaching him a different way of thinking, teaching him a different way of obtaining self-awareness and making good decisions before he reacts, and also helping him with his passion, because he knew that that's what he wanted to do was, do karate. And he knew that, well, the instructors he was going to were not genuine. They didn't have that heart. They didn't have that passion in the karate. They were mostly using it for just self-defense, to hurt people. And Mr. Miyagi was not doing that. And in a way, it was more spiritual than doing harm to others. Yeah. So, and that's where I could relate to that, in that way. And that's one of the reasons why I placed it on my list, because I have so much of a connection to that film, especially now with the series. Oh my gosh, the series is awesome. It's just amazing. And yeah, and then so I'm catching up with that series as well.
All right, very good.
It's really amazing when you were saying that. You got me to thinking, and I think that could possibly why I did like the Karate Kid so much, is Mr. Miyagi kind of reminded me of my grandfather. With advice and life lessons, and I never really thought about that before. So thank you. That's very eye-opening.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah, that's a great point. DH, go to number 5. How about that?
Well, it's going to be another winner.
Well, go ahead.
It's easy. Back to the Future.
Back to the Future.
Yes.
Back to the Future.
Kind of like your
Are
list.
You kidding me? Yeah.
Well,
Back to the Future.
Look, number 5 came down between that and Revenge of the Nerds for me, so I went to Back to the Future.
Revenge of the Nerds! It's my favorite.
See, okay, my number 5 is
Revenge. That made your list too, wasn't it?
Yeah, we're actually on number 4. I had them two flipping back and forth.
Oh my gosh! What world am I in?
The wrong one, evidently.
I guess so. I guess so. All right. So my number 5 is, and I told you that story behind it, and it's pretty cool, where I had never been to a movie where before they started it, they had to put the lights up and check everybody's ticket stubs because they were packing in there with the wrong tickets.
Well, it's because they knew you were in there with your date and you only bought one ticket.
I only bought one ticket, yeah. So anyway, that was the big deal back then, where we were having the issues with the Russians. So, when the U.S., against the Russians and all that stuff. So I had Rocky 4 on there.
Rocky 4.
Credit. It's a good movie.
I thought I did a good job on that one.
It is a good movie. It's not the level of Back to the Future or Revenge of the Nerds, but it's a good movie. I'll give you that.
Won't even be in the same category, would it? I got you. So this should be easy for her to pick between Back to the Future and Rocky 4.
3-0. 3-0. I'm going for it.
Confident.
Actually, no, it's not.
Oh, wait a minute.
I told you. I said, hold the phone.
I'd actually say there's a tie.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm a
So both of
huge
those
fan.
have good points. They have good, strong points to those movies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Sylvester Stallone
Yes.
and Rocky, the Rocky films. I mean, that was huge in my father's library, from Rocky 1 to all the way to the most recent one before he passed away. And so, I mean, that was.
I'm interested to see if the Creed series follows that same kind of storyline.
Good point.
Yes, definitely. Yes, and I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Yes.
What is your opinion, Angie, of that? Do you think it's going to have the same kind of shock value as the Rockies?
Well, I mean, Creed, the first one, I mean, that was intense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when Sylvester Stallone is appearing in it, and he's setting an example for his student, you know, and I mean, which I was just like amazed, simply amazed, because I was like, wow, this is just a continuation from Rocky, but instead of him fighting, he's setting an example for someone else, you know, to go out in the ring, pretty much teaching him what he was taught.
Gotcha.
And you know, one of the things you were mentioning was your dad had the large library of the Rocky movies. I think us older guys probably do. There's so many lessons in those movies. I mean, they are great movies. I'll give David that some credit on that, but I'm still
you don't give me much though. I got you. All right, big guy. What was your what was your number one?
Number one? You sure you want to know number one? Because this one, you don't even have a movie that's going to be close to this. Axel Foley in Beverly Hills Cop.
Oh my gosh.
I went and saw this movie 13 times on 13 different dates. Great movie. Hilarious.
You've lost your mind.
Yes.
You've lost your mind to see that thing 13 times.
No, it's an amazing movie.
And to pay 13 times.
I didn't say I paid 13. No,
okay. I got you. All right. I got you.
Run for crystals and fries before the movie.
That's right. All right. So you got back. You done blew my mind. You got Beverly Hills Cop, right?
The winner.
Okay. And then I've got the movie Footloose as my number one.
Oh, wow. Yes.
Okay.
I love that.
So now there you go. You got those two comparisons.
Footloose was so bad they had to remake it a little bit different.
Are you kidding me? You've lost your mind.
No, I didn't. I was not a huge fan of the remake. I was like, no more remakes, please.
Like, oh.
The remake, it was terrible. I thought it was not. It was not very good.
I will. I mean, on the original.
I mean, who can beat Kevin Bacon? No one can be like Kevin Bacon.
Eddie Murphy.
Well, yeah, that's a good point, but when we're talking about those two pieces of work, I don't know.
I'm referring to the expert.
Well, if you need a good laugh, Beverly Hills Cop is the movie to go to. Yes, and I mean Eddie Murphy is, I mean, a fantastic comedian. I love his films. Anytime you're feeling down in the dumps, you know, I mean, you pop in an Eddie Murphy film and then you're feeling high up in heaven afterwards, you know.
That's true.
But Beverly Hills Cop, one of the reasons why I became a huge fan of that was the Axl song.
Yes. I mean, I used to run to that and work out with it. It's great.
Yes, well, my brothers used to do break dancing to it back in the day.
Awesome.
And I remember my brother's bedroom, he would have like the flashing lights going on, the strobe light, and he would play the Axl song, and then he's breaking, break dancing on the carpet, and my mom's going crazy because the whole house is shaking. What's going on?
So CBC, back Beverly Hills Cop was Footloose. before Footloose was out.
Very true. Very true.
Well, yeah, I don't have any defense for that. That's
Del, you and I
that's a
have
good
to
point.
hang out.
Yes, I'm telling you. Tons of movies to watch.
Yeah, I'm just weird in this deal, I think.
We'll let these things come along so we can show them what real movies are.
All right.
Exactly.
So I think, all right, she liked Kevin Bacon, but she discussed more about Beverly Hills. So I think you got that one too.
Winner,
Aw.
winner.
We still love you, D. And
All right.
We still love you, but
All right.
you know, I feel adjudicated. My list has been verified.
You are the chump. I mean the champ.
Hey, as long as I get a cheeseburger, either one's good.
That's right. All right. So let's do this just to kind of wrap up our list and put that to bed. Let's do this. Nightmare on Elm Street, Risky Business, Terminator, 48 Hours, 16 Candles, Teachers, Stripes, Dead Poet Society, Fast Times at Ridgemont High, All the Right Moves, Rocky IV, Karate Kid, Breakfast Club, awesome, Top Gun, and Footloose. So go ahead, D.
So the winning list is Lethal Weapon, Field of Dreams, Stripes, Top Gun, Risky Business, Karate Kid, Purple Rain, Coming to America, and Regular Vacation. Either of those are great movies. Back to the Future, Revenge of the Nerds, Back to School, Rodney Dangerfield, Blues Brothers, and Beverly Hills Cops.
nice.
See,
Love it.
nice.
So
list.
what did we leave off? What's a couple of your favorites?
Okay, well, both of your lists, I mean, those were wonderful lists. I'm a huge fan of Coming to America, Purple Rain, of course. I'm a huge Prince fan.
See,
That was on your honorable mention.
those are both on my list.
No, Purple Rain was on there? Yeah, that's right.
It was at number 8.
Never mind. I was trying to shut my ears off to it, I guess. All right.
I'm just going to read off what I have on my list and
All right.
see if you guys have any relation to it. Of course, I put Top Gun as well. And then The Lost Boys.
Yep.
Little Shop of Horrors.
Yes, Rick Moranis.
Ah.
Yes.
Yes.
The Color Purple.
Yes.
Big.
Tom Hanks. Yeah.
Of course.
Who did? Yeah. Everybody loves Tom.
Oh, yeah. Love Tom. The Princess Bride. Roadhouse.
Oh, Patrick.
That was on my
Yeah.
honorable mention.
That was on yours. Yeah.
That was on mine. Yes.
A Christmas Story. We can't forget about the Christmas Story.
Right.
There's Clue. Yes, that's an old one that is hardly
Very
ever mentioned.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a good movie.
I had not thought of that.
Yeah.
movie in years.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And The Goonies, of
Yes.
course.
Awesome.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Excellent.
Yes.
Yeah.
We had one of those guests on just
Oh,
about a
really?
week ago. Yeah, we had Diane Franklin on.
Oh, yes. I remember that. Yes.
Mhm.
That's awesome. That's
Mhm.
amazing. I love her. Overboard.
Yes.
Go
Yeah.
Kurt Russell. Yeah.
Goldie Hawn and Kurt
Mhm.
Russell.
Mhm.
Moonstruck.
Yes. Cher. hmm
Yes, Cher, of course.
Nicolas Cage.
Yes.
The other
yes.
one I like by him is the teen. I love them teen movies when growing up.
Uh-huh.
Was Valley Girl. One of my
Valley
favorites.
Girl. Oh, yes, that was amazing.
Mhm.
Yes.
That
I love
Nicolas
that one.
Cage was in. Yep.
Mm-hmm. And I have Crossroads which is
Ralph
one of my
Macchio.
favorites, with Ralph Macchio.
Yes.
And
Excellent movie.
yeah, written by John Fusco, which is also a writer that I've been supporting as well. I mean, that the rock scene, the scene where they have the competition on stage, that was just amazing. Even though Ralph Macchio is not actually playing it, but I mean, his acting, his performance is intense.
Yeah.
And it's pretty, I mean, it's fantastic. It's phenomenal.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, Steve Vai, I mean, who can compete with Steve Vai?
Exactly.
Let's see, Grease and Grease 2.
Yep.
I mean, John Travolta and then Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yes.
Sure.
Then Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah. Oh,
that's a good one.
Love it. That's great.
I forgot about.
Well, we obviously, like we said at the start of this, it's impossible to put all your favorite movies in a 15 list. You just can't do it.
No.
She's named a ton of them, that I enjoy too.
Yeah, definitely.
That I didn't even think about,
Yeah, and of course I can't leave out one of my good friends, one of my huge supporters, and I've been also supporting him as well with all of his films and everything that's going on recently. It has to be La Bamba. I mean, Richie Valens.
Fantastic movie.
Yes. And I mean, Lou Diamond Phillips, so he's one of my very good friends, and I love supporting his films, everything that he's in currently. Prodigal Son, which was a huge disappointment that they canceled the series, but hopefully they get renewed, so we're keeping our fingers crossed.
Yeah.
What a dynamic actor. I mean,
absolutely.
I look back over the different roles he's played, and it's just amazing. It's like, wow.
Amazing. Yes, definitely. Yeah.
I believe I've seen everything, even Stand and Deliver.
Excellent movie.
Oh, unbelievable. I think I pretty much have seen everything he's done.
Mm-hmm.
He's fantastic.
He's
definitely
actors that when he's in something, it doesn't really matter what the movie's about. I want to see it because I know he's such a dynamic actor.
Yep, that's right.
Definitely, yes. I mean, have you seen The Night Stalker? Oh, The Night Stalker, you have to see that one. He pretty much puts an intense performance into the movie. It's amazing, and I was pretty much shocked, with his performance in that. But yeah, that's a good thriller, especially with. I
think seeing that movie kind of, to me, kind of is where he told me he could do anything because, like you said, the intensity and just the I guess it was just the opposite of what he had normally been doing. It was just like, oh wow. So,
yeah, it was an eye opener, definitely. Yes. But yeah, those are pretty much what I have on my list. So
awesome.
I don't know if you're able to relate to those.
If we all get
absolutely
together for a movie night, you can choose the movie or I can choose the movie, but
I won't choose a movie. No. We've come to that conclusion today.
Yeah.
You don't want me choosing the movie.
And
I'd have the crowd walking out pretty quickly, I think. So, okay, I'll get better, I hope. I'm young. Hey, I'm a young guy in this podcasting thing.
You're older than I am.
I'm trying to 23 days.
Yeah. You're young.
23 days. That's right. Angie, kind of update us on some stuff that's going on with you.
Yes, please.
In the future.
Sure. Okay, definitely. Well, currently right now, I am a host of this writing community on Twitter, and it's called Friday Phrases. And I'm a host of that mostly for many writers in the writing community who just want to put in their writing muscles into work, just to participate in something every Friday. And so that's what I'm hosting currently. And it's been a success recently. And it's been an honor to support that and continue on with that.
Can I ask you on that?
Yes.
My daughter is really into writing. Is that something that anybody could kind of just become?
Oh, sure, definitely. Yeah. Anybody can participate.
And DH, we are following that, by the way.
Awesome. Yes.
Wonderful. Great. Yes. Every Friday I have a new prompt, daily prompt, and all writers everywhere can participate in it. And
fantastic.
You can, write a little short story, a little phrase of some sort, as long as you include the daily prompt and hashtag FP for Friday phrases, and that's pretty much it. And then every so often I'll scroll through and I'll retweet and recognize those writers who have been participating.
Well, thank you.
And definitely. It's just an outlet for writers out there. And one of my future projects, I only have time to be writing on Sundays because currently right now I'm attending esthetician school, and I'm in the process of obtaining my esthetician license. So I'm working on that. And Sundays, it's pretty much my days off of doing my writing, working on my writing. And one of my books coming up, hopefully within the next few years, but I mean, it does take time. It's titled The Dawn of the Elemental Hybrids. That was inspired by my daughter because when she was around 6 or 7, she created these random characters, during their imagination, playtime, and so forth. And so that inspired me to create something in reference to that, of these superheroes that she just randomly created. And then I'm also writing a novella, and it's called La Dama y el Catrín. It's based on the loteria, the game, the Spanish loteria game. Some people call it chalupa. But yeah, I'm writing a little novella of that. And then I'm also going to combine a poetry anthology of different poetry I have written in the past and in the present, and just compiling into one solid book. And then also I'm also working on compilation of some short stories, short fables, fairy tales, I guess you can call them. But other than that, that's pretty much what I'm working on that sector, which is
very busy.
Writing.
Yes.
I've been busy. And as far as the film festivals, I know San Antonio Film Festival here in Texas, they're accepting film submissions for the 2022, and the event will be held in August. Filmfreeway.com has more information on that. Anyone who wants to submit films in the present time or in the future, all they have to do is go on filmfreeway.com, and there's a whole list of film festivals for people to participate in. I'm also a supporter of the Texas Film Commission here in Texas, and another huge film festival that I'm a huge proponent in sponsoring is Cine Sol Film Festival in Rio Grande Valley, Texas. While I was living there for a few years, I was supporting them, and I currently am at the present moment. They're accepting submissions. Regular deadline is June 15th of this year, and extended deadline is August 5th. The event date will be November 20th through 21st. And if you need to get in contact with the primary representative of the film festival, his name is Henry, and he can be reached by email, henry@cinesol.com. Another film festival here in the Austin area that just recently made their debut, which has already completed its course. I believe it was yesterday. It's Lake Travis Film Festival. Their website is laketravisfilmfestival.com. And then there is also ATX TV Festival, which started today. And they're a virtual film festival. And you can obtain more information on prekindle.com/ATX Festival. And then there's also Austin Asian American Film Fest, which is also virtual. And that will be, well, it's already going on at the present time. It's June 4th through 20th. And we also have the 23rd Cine Las Americas International, and it's cinelasamericas.org. That has already completed, but, you know, I'd recommend people to support them. I mean, that's one of those Latino international film festivals that I hugely support.
Fantastic.
Yes. And then there's a recent one that also wanted me to support them as well. They're called Eddie Play International Film Festival, which is held in France, actually. Yeah, their submissions is July 2nd through the 3rd. And they can also, anyone who wants to submit films through there, it's through via filmfreeway.com as well. And then, of course, the Imagen Awards, which is, as you know, right, I'm a huge supporter of that.
Right.
And so the guidelines, the submission fees and guidelines can be found on imagen.org/awards and then /call for entries. Or they can just search it through the search bar there. But the deadline for that is May 15th, 2021. Mm-hmm.
Wonderful.
Yes.
All right.
So there you go.
Fantastic.
Very amazing.
DH, you got anything?
Angie, I just want to thank you for your time today and thank you for agreeing with me and show DC the light on movies. So
definitely.
Never going to see the light of it. Nope. I was wrong. I will admit I was wrong. My list was wrong.
Yes.
Been a great show, and
yeah, it has.
We would love to have you back on anytime you're available. Just let us know. You know, and you can agree with me on some more things. I mean, we can do other things.
He'd love to have you back on. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wonderful. I'm excited to be here. It's been a pleasure meeting both of you too. I'll also keep in touch with both of you and forward you web links that I'll be having currently or later in the future.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right now, at the present moment, I'm also a Reiki healer and a tarot card reader. And so I've been implementing that with my esthetician practice as well. So I see a bright future ahead of me. So I'm focusing on that a lot.
She knew you were going to win.
I already knew. But definitely anything, share with us and we'll be glad to share it out to the audience.
Absolutely.
Of course. Looking forward to watching this on YouTube.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know, the thing is this, we really appreciate you coming on the show. I mean, this show is for fun. We laugh a lot, we goof off a lot, and you were such a benefit to the show and such an honor to have you on. So we really appreciate that.
You're welcome. And that's one of my best qualities is I have a sense of humor. So
laugh.
Yeah. We got to have that, especially in these times. That's for sure.
Yes, definitely. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Angie.
Do you see any final thoughts?
Keep watching the 80s movies.
Folks, I'll leave you with this. Be kind to each other and be kind to yourself. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time. Until then, folks, go out, enjoy yourself, and watch some of these great movies from Miami.
You got that right. On Angie's list, too. Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
All right. Be good.
Bye.
Bye.
Be good, friends. Be good.
Thank you again.
All right.
All right.